Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Welcome into another live stream. Tonight we talk about the New York Knicks signing their final rook. Kevin McCullar is signed finally now to a two-way deal. We're going to talk about him and what can he provide. We're going to break down his game and his future with the New York Knicks as well. The Knicks made another move earlier last week, and it is Chuma Okeke, right? The veteran from Orlando brought him in for a camp invite as well. We're going to talk about him, and we're going to go through some Q&A tonight with the best chat in the biz. And welcome in, guys. Hope you're doing well. And the off season, right? It's at the quietest point, no doubt about it. But free agency is still humming along, I would say, dying down with most teams. But we're going to be talking about the key dates coming up, right, to start the season. And we're going to go through it with the best chat in the biz. Salute Replay Squad as well. Guys, smash that like button. We've all got the streets buzzing. How we doing, guys? Hope you're doing well. Been away for a few days, enjoying the summer and vacation. But we are here. We're here tonight to discuss the Knicks finally signing Kevin McCullar to a two-way deal, basically as everybody anticipated. But it's good. It's good to finally get that move done, signed now. Obviously, he's been rehabbing in New York at the facility. He missed Summer League as well. So, you know, we didn't get that good look at Kevin McCullar and his game. But it was first reported by Michael Scotto earlier today that the Knicks and Kevin agreed to a two-way deal. So that is Ariel Hukporty and Kevin McCullar both on the two-way deals too. And tonight we're going to talk about what's next, right? Chuma Okeke as well, a veteran who was added to the camp invite on an Exhibit 10 deal, which is a non-guaranteed deal. And there's still one open main roster spot available right now. We're going to talk about tonight some of these names and what do we think the Knicks are going to do with this final roster spot, the main roster spot. Jacob Toppin is expected to take the final two-way. You can sign 3 two-way contracts. The Knicks have extended a qualifying offer to Toppin as well. You know, if he gets a better offer, then things might get a little tricky, but he'll probably be back on the two-way, right, on the final year of his eligibility for a two-way deal. But Kevin McCullar has been signed, and we're going to talk about him and his game too, because we didn't get to see it in Summer League, right? And as we do, we always grade the moves and the transactions. So we'll start with McCullar first. But welcome in, chat. Welcome in everyone buzzing with us right now. Kevin McCullar will get a B+. I was happy mainly for the pick overall where it was, pick 56. Obviously, the reason we've waited this long and the reason he missed Summer League was due to some health setbacks, right? I say setbacks because hopefully it's nothing, that's going to continue and linger, and hopefully that's overcome now. He's been rehabbing. So he did miss the rest of the NCAA season. He didn't participate in the tournament. No pre-draft workouts and no pre-draft activities. No Summer League, of course, as well. So it's been a multitude of injuries in terms of the knee. He had a minor procedure, which was a scope. But he had it, and hopefully now he's all good. The Knicks have inked him to the deal. Now, this has a potential steal potential for the New York Knicks at pick 56, right? This guy has Tibbs written all over him in terms of his game suiting what Tibbs looks for. Hard nose on D, good length at the 3-4 spots, right? He can guard up in positions as well. We're going to go through some breakdown. He's a very good passer as well. Up the court, he can bring the ball up a little bit like a Josh Hart. I know there's been those comparisons as well. And there's been some three-point shooting flashes, effective in the corners. Overall, I think he finished the season around 33%. It did dip to around 31% at various stretches, but there's definitely some potential. He can knock down the open shot, but hopefully that's something you hope can come along as well. But in terms of getting this deal finally signed now, it's great because all the rookies are officially signed, and like I said, I give it a B plus. Huck Pority really high on that move as well. So him and McCullar will probably spend more time in the G League developing. McCullar is 23 though, so his game in terms of his defense is the most ready-made skill set. He's really hard-nosed, and I think in a pinch, if there's injuries, I think as the season progresses, he might be a guy to step in and guard at the third string position, 3-4 spots. Obviously, Keita Bates-Diop is there. Backup four, a lot of people had their opinions last time we spoke. People don't want Josh Hart to play the backup four. So, we know what Tibbs prefers, but I really like what Keita Bates-Diop can provide as well, because he's 6'9", he's long, he's got extra size as well, and he can defend. Too. Brian's in the building, says, I haven't seen a bad move by Leon since the RJIQ trade. As much as I love IQ, it's been all positive since then. Appreciate your thoughts. But yeah, I don't think the RJIQ trade was a bad move by any stretch. I think it was a great move. But yeah, a lot of people are sad to see those guys go. And obviously the Knicks, we'll talk about tonight, expectations are really high now, and all-in moves have been made, and the Knicks, are poised to contend, right? So, depth at the end of the bench and all those positions are really important. Kevin McCullar is 23, like I said, played at a big program, multiple years in college. That's exactly what the Knicks love, is you see he can play above the rim. He's got good length, but defense first. And I mean, guys, I haven't, seen a team in a long time like this stacked at the wing position, defensively, right? We've got insurance for OG. If he misses some time, you got Mikal Bridges that can step up, Keita Bates-Diop, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, solid defenders at the wing. And then you've got Kevin McCullar now as well. So, great thread from Ariel Pacheco on X, talking about his impact defensively. Here are some instances, man. So you can pick guys up. Look at the length. And he's really good on ball. His defense and stops the penetration there. Makes him lose the handle and gathers it, man. Not afraid to get on the floor as well. So a lot of similarities to a Josh Hart's kind of game with this one. Next up, he can guard up in positions. Here he's guarding a 4. The 4's trying to back him down. And no success. Right, great possession here from Kevin McCullar on this one. Crafty with the hands, gets the strip as well. So I think this guy's going to fit in the culture. And I really like this signing long term. I like the draft pick, and I love the signing now officially. It's really just the health, and that was the main reason he slipped. Outside of that, Kevin McCullar would have been picked probably a lot earlier, 30s, 40s. He was never really, dubbed a first-round draft pick. I think probably because of the age, but in terms of ready-made play in the game, he's definitely a guy that's going to fit in this culture, guys. As J-Dub and Paul is in the building, and New York Knicks salute. J-Dub says, I like the wing depth we have. We can literally go 3 deep. Yeah, you said it. And we talked about point guard position last show, about how deep we are, but the wing spot is arguably deeper with Daddy Toppin now, and of course McCullar now as well. Bates-Diop can guard threes as well, my friends. Unbelievable, right? Leon's done a great job in my opinion. We went through our power rankings as of July. I've got the New York Knicks in second, right? I think we're one of the most deepest rosters. You got Devo coming off the bench with Josh Hart. Those guys could start on so many teams. But yeah, the keys to McCullar's game is we continue to go through some of the film and get those highlights back up. Effective without the ball. I think that's going to be a key thing, guys, because there's going to be a lot of usage had between Brunson, Bridges, DiVincenzo, OG, and Hart, and of course Julius Randle as well, right? And guys need to get in position, be ready to catch and shoot, because there's going to be a lot of catch and shoot opportunities. There's going to be so many possessions where those other guys are going to be, on the ball, as they should. So, guys who can play well without the ball, defend multiple positions, are going to fit right in, man. That's why the Knicks took a big swing on Kevin McCullar, basically. Well, not a big swing, but it was a swing in terms of the 56th pick. So here, another example of his ability to bang with the bigger body and hold up really well. This kind of versatility is valuable and will likely be his calling card in the league. So another 23-year-old, ready-made to play right now, ready to play defense. Yeah, I think you'll play G League not because he's not ready for minutes. It's just because there won't be enough minutes, and we are stacked. But if there's some injuries, and knock on wood, that Kevin McCullar will be able to step in if he's healthy and play some minutes this season. I feel, because he's definitely his body and defense is NBA ready right now. J Dub says Leon does a great job of getting the type of players that fits Tibbs' culture. Yep, great point. Salute everyone out here. Smash that like button. The Knicks streets are buzzing. We'll talk about Chuma Okeke next up. But Brian says, with this depth, will Tibbs actually rest his starters? That's the big question. I think, hopefully, I think that's the hope for everybody. Will he actually do it? I think he'll be more likely to do it, more likely than ever. Obviously, there are some certain guys that I'm looking at right now on the roster that shouldn't play more than 30, due to their health concerns, and that's Mitchell Robinson. First up, Brian. I know the center position is the weakest at this point, and we're going to talk about that more tonight, guys. But with Mitch, you certainly can't play him, 30 plus minutes, especially back-to-backs and those kind of things. So will he learn in that question? A lot of people have had their, made their thoughts about Precious Achiuwa now coming back, primary backup for now. You got Sims, you got Huck Porty. We'll see if they do add another center or another big man, more than likely at the trade deadline. But with that said, man, with your question, we really just have to wait and see. I'm hoping, and he'll definitely be open for criticism if he doesn't, because with a roster this deep, you definitely should be, resting, and allocating the minutes more wisely too. And another key point that I want to make as well is Josh Hart playing the four. Like, I don't want him banging with the fours so much as well. So that's why this McCullar pickup was really good as well. And again, we'll talk about who the Knicks might add. Mook Morris is out there, but Philly and Cleveland are interested in him. The two centers that are the best available, I think, for the veterans minimum would be Omer Yurtseven and Bismack Biyombo. But, I don't know if the Knicks are going to go that way. Obviously, they've got the $5.2 million to spend. And tonight I'll talk about why it's probably wise and why the Knicks are most likely going to use that on the best available player so that they can flip that player for a big man at some point. Because there is no big man available right now that's worth $5.2 million. As most people have pointed out, the best names available, I think, would be Landry Shamet, Isaac Okoro, Davis Bertans, Lonnie Walker. But the Knicks are really good at the wing spot. So if we do sign one of those guys, I think it's a really telltale sign that we are planning to flip them for a big man and see how it all plays out. Um, but yeah, to Brian's question before we move to the next one, um, in terms of guys, when they do play their minutes, they can play at 110%. Now, if you are playing lesser minutes, go hard. Go hard for those minutes and then substitute out. And then, with the likes of DiVincenzo and Hart, coming off your bench, it's an absolute luxury we can have right now. Dritmore, what's up? Michael Drake. Paula says it's unbelievable wing depth. I remember when we all signed those forwards, it was a running joke. Yes, thanks for reminding me. Power forwards, it was Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson. It was signing. We had Kevin Knox that we just drafted as well. Right, it was insane. But we got the wealth, but we're spread it around now. We're deep at the point guard. We're deep at the wing. We're deep at the shooting guard position, power forward and center, the weak spots. But McCullar helps in that regard because he can guard some fours. Right. I'm not predicting he's going to get minutes early and none of those things. So before people, say that he's not going to play much, I think early on he's definitely not going to play much. But what I'm saying is if he can, if he needs to play, due to some concerns or injuries, then he will come in and be effective, I think. Next up, he can be just as effective defending off-ball, where his length and instincts can be disruptive. Here, McCullar helps at the nail with a stunt and is able to poke the ball loose to force the turnover. So, there we see there. He reaches in and is smart. Right, that's high IQ defending. And these are the things that the Knicks really look at, So always switched on, guarding your man and guarding the ball, seeing your man, seeing the ball, in the words of Clyde. So I'm really liking these highlights so far. So again, once the ball hits the post, watch him on the 2 weak side before reading the ball handler's eyes and jumping to the passing lane. Another example of his instincts and length causing problems for the other team, right? So here he is, rotates really well, then rotates back, passing lane, slam, fast break. Kevin McCullar, I think he could be a fan favourite. Hopefully he gets healthy, right? He could be a Josh Hart light. But again, it's important to note he is 23, guys. So he's ready to play if there's minutes at some point. But I don't think there will be at the beginning of the season. But long term, and in terms of when the roster maybe thins out, if there's a bigger trade down the pipe, then I think it helps to have ready-made guys step in. Jet Life's with us, Al Tango, Pytho Nick, salute Bob, and Buzzer Beaters with us. Salute guys, how you doing? Right, we've got some key dates we're going to talk about. As the training camp media day, guys, is less than 2 months away, about 8-9 weeks, and here we go. We're gonna get the season schedule come out and broken down. That's going to be mid-August at some point. We'll be live to break it down. The Knicks will probably get more national TV games and all of that. Of course, we've got one more year of this TV deal with TNT. And then after this season is when Amazon Prime and NBC are back, of course, as well. So this is the final year of the TV deal. And then we've got Knicks Media Day, September 30, and our training camp. Back to Charleston, South Carolina, right? Tibbs with the old school and setup. And we're headed back to Charleston for training camp. That is confirmed now, October 1. Is when training camp kicks off, fam. That'll be a Tuesday. September 30 is a Monday, and our media day, or Knicks content day, will commence. We already know one preseason game. It's at MSG against the Wolves on October 13, and then a lot of eyes will be on December 15, when players will be more players will be trade eligible at that point, and we're going to talk a bit about that later tonight too. But with Kevin McCullar, right, the signing coming in as the 56th overall pick, takes most likely what will be the final two-way, with Jake Toppin waiting on the qualifying offer with that one, and I gave it a B plus. Fam, let me know what you would grade this pick and signing. Obviously, we haven't seen him. We didn't see him in summer league. I'm just going off his fit. I'm going off college and what he can bring to the table. And like I said, we'll talk about Chuma Okeke next, who is a ready-made player, but he's going to be on a camp, non-guaranteed deal. So, I mean, it was no surprise that the Knicks picked up McCullar, after seeing the success that Josh Hart's had, right? A guy who doesn't need the ball to be effective, right? You see, guarding multiple positions, grabs the rebound here. Ariel says he's a good rebounder who attacks the defensive glass and consistently can be seen boxing out even bigger guys. He's very fundamentally sound at just about every aspect defensively. So, I mean, no surprise that appealed to the New York Knicks, and a great fit. Now for some questions, though. As I said before, there's three-point shooting flashes. The biggest question with McCullar is his jumper. He never shot over 33% in his 4 years in college on low volume. It's his biggest swing skill entering the league, as having a reliable jumper will unlock the rest of his offensive game. So he's better in the corner, no doubt about it. But yeah, we've got to get that percentage up. And I think there's a lot of potential there. The form looks really, really good. To Drip more, we're buzzing in August. Knicks Nation, smash that like button. Al Tango says, salute CT. Our bench is rounding out nicely. Let's see who shows their worth. We are definitely deep at the wing. We learnt from last year with all the injuries, and I think Tibbs will go with a 9 or 10 man. So you think 9 or 10 man? Interesting. Definitely 9. I do think postseason might be down to 8, but definitely regular season 9, potentially 10 on some nights too. I think some really underrated pickups were obviously the Bates-Diop. I've been watching more film on him, and he can definitely defend really well. Super long, 6'9". He can shoot it as well. After the year before last, he had a really good year shooting with the Spurs, 39% from 3. So I think Keita Bates-Diop might be in the rotation early. If we don't sign another big man, he might be the backup 4. Otherwise, it might just be 9 man with Deuce, Devo, Hart, and Precious, the 4 guys off our bench. But with guys like Kolek, Payne, McCullar if he's healthy, Sims, the third string unit is definitely a lot stronger. As Michael Drake says, CT, what a great signing. Absolutely. Python Nick says, salute. Chuma is a good pickup, and we've got a deep bench. Now, there's no excuses yet to play more guys. Who would you like to see added? Brian says Lonnie Walker. I think he would be a solid pickup. I don't know if he's going to get a $5.2 million exception. He might have to take the minimum. You see, a lot of deals, a lot of money is dried up with other teams. We're seeing guys settle for the minimum now as well. But yeah, I wouldn't mind if the Knicks signed any of those 4 guys, I think, for the 5.2 that I've got on screen. And these are my suggestions, guys, in terms of best available players. We could certainly fill that final spot with a vet min. Omer Yurtseven, I think, would be a really good insurance for the big man. But maybe the New York Knicks are okay waiting until the trade season. Obviously that is going to be mid-December, and it's going to be a situation where Precious Achua is going to be eligible to be traded in, I think, December 15 or January 15, whichever of the key dates. But trade season, basically, the Knicks will be looking, I think, for a bigger upgrade for the at the 5 spot. But I think for now they're okay running it into the season, right? One of the points I wanted to make, guys, is there really aren't really backup centers around the league that are going to hurt you. So I know a lot of people feel like, yeah, we've got to upgrade that spot. We've got to do it ASAP. I think we're okay running it into the season. We've got options. You know, Julius can play some 5. OG can guard 5s in a pinch. Mitch is obviously healthy right now. It's the postseason that most people are worried about. And obviously it's a long season. It's a grind, so I get it. But, Precious, don't count the fact out that he could get better. And I think he's a really solid backup 5 option. He's mobile. He just gives up that, size. But back to the point I make, which backup 5s are going to hurt you around the league? Right? I can't even think of too many backup 5s. So I think as long as we make sure that we're going to address it at the trade deadline, I think to start the season we're okay. And obviously Sims and Hakpority might come in to camp really impress. They might have a really good preseason. And that is something to really keep our eye out on as well. It's going to be a buzzing training camp and a buzzing preseason, guys. As someone's asked us in the chat, says, Paul, what's the preseason schedule? Paul, we've only got one game so far which has been announced, and that is October 13 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, 7 p.m. at MSG Eastern Time. And there's going to be more to be confirmed. So the Knicks haven't released their own schedule yet. We did find out this via the Timberwolves schedule as well. So we'll make sure we update you as soon as the Knicks announce it. But right now we've only got one game that we know of. It's basically going to be 12 days after training camp begins. So I'm going to assume there's going to be a couple more games before this one. What happens is normally the Knicks start training camp for about a week to 9 to 10 days, and then they usually play their first preseason game. So I'm going to assume there's at least 1 or 2 games before the 13th, and we'll wait and see what happens, what shakes out. But Deshaun, what's up? I'm good. How you doing? How you feeling about this season? Everyone ready for the big expectations, right? I think we'll start the season really hot, but there is a lot of expectations. Guys have signed their deals. Tibbs has got an extension now. Buzzer says the season starts October 22. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready right now. I'm ready for it to start now. Coaches in the building. Salute. NBC. Yeah, glad to have them back. Absolutely. TNT, I'm not going to miss. I'm not going to miss them personally. But I did like the comedy at times. But yeah, the coverage of the Knicks specifically, I'm not going to miss, fam. But Buzzer says, rest in peace to TNT inside the NBA. Del Mara says, great signing. Yep, Kevin McCullar, I gave it a B+, and I'm glad that he's officially signed right now. The story was broken by Mike Scotto of Hoops Hype. And yeah, he's keys to the game, guys. It's just going to fit really, really well with this team. I'm going to say he's a hybrid version of, based on what I've seen, and obviously we want to see him in action and let him show us what he can do. But based on what I've seen, this guy is a Dante DiVincenzo / Josh Hart hybrid in terms of, he provides, bit of both of their games. Obviously, the shooting potential needs to get better, though, but solid in the corners. And obviously, his health is the biggest concern, though. But this has the hallmark of a steal when we're talking about where he was selected, and not needing to give up anything to really move around to get that pick. 56, he can defend, and he's got great length as well. So officially now, let's talk about Chuma Okeke. But Kevin McCullar, I think, if there's injuries, we might see him a little bit more this season. But he's great depth, he's great insurance. He can guard 3s, 4s, 2s as well. Um, and of course, Ariel Hukporti is on another two-way deal, and most likely those two will be playing Westchester quite a bit just to keep active, because yeah, this is a squad ready to contend and built to contend right now and win. So I'm not going to be feeling sorry for players that aren't maybe not going to be getting the minutes that they hope, because they should know entering this situation now, guys, that it's championship or bust this season. You know, not to say we can't improve, because that is one of the best things about this off season is that Leon Rose has done a lot of great manoeuvring that gives the team more flexibility moving forward with signing these new deals. However, we're as good as the top team, which is Boston, and we're built to take them down. So I'm ready. Now, next up, we'll talk about Chuma Okeke, and that was announced as well by Michael Scotto, Hoops Hype, and we're going to go through some footage. But Stefan Bondi confirmed. Everyone was wondering, okay, like, what are the terms of the deal when it was announced? And then we find out shortly after that Steph Bondi says it's an Exhibit 10 training camp deal, which is basically a non-guaranteed contract. So it's non-guaranteed. He'll participate in camp, pre-season, and then right before the season begins, teams have to make their cuts for to take the roster down to the amount of spots that is required, right? So you must have 14 spots. The Knicks are already at that. So if Okeke was to make the roster, he would be the 15th guy. So before we break down his game, right, and this is Okeke in the new 2K25 in his Knicks getup, and I like his game. Defensively, he's a really hard-nosed player as well. Multiple years in the league and with Orlando, and Okeke can defend. As we see, averaged 6 points, and he averaged 3.7 rebounds in 20 minutes in 4 seasons. With the Magic, he's 25 years old, and he was the former 16th pick, going back since 2019, fam. I believe that was the RJ Barrett draft. So Okeke, I didn't realize he went that high, to be honest, but I've been an admirer of Okeke throughout his career. He could just never get consistency. A little bit of everything. Orlando are really deep. Orlando have a lot of, they've been one of the deepest rosters for a few years, so he's kind of been on the fringe in terms of that. But what we're getting potentially is a guy who defends and has scoring upside as well. Really good size at the wing spot. And here, one of his best games he's had against the New York Knicks, 15 points, went 5 of 7 and 4 of 5 from 3. And this is when Orlando beat the Knicks, the hottest team in the NBA at that point. So what are your thoughts on this pickup, guys? Coach is Okeke, kid is a defender, most def. And I'm starring a few questions. We'll get to that on the next topic. Buzzer Beaters asked us about the Randall extension. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Rusty says the Knicks can't beat the Celtics. I disagree with you on that one, man. I think there'll be a hangover with Boston. It's tough to go back-to-back, man. There's a reason why teams don't go back-to-back much. Daryl, what's up? Kevin is a mature, solid player who will slowly improve with his play, added depth. Love his tenacity and grit on the boards. Definitely, you're onto that. And I think he's going to be a fan favorite in the Mecca as well. We've got him under cost control. I think it was a steal. So yeah, Markelle Fultz, I think he would be a player worthy of signing and then maybe flipping. He can play the 2. He's a bigger guard, but I think the way the Knicks should be approaching this final signing is, which is why I don't think it's going to be Okeke. And that's not really talking about Okeke's game as much. It's just about finances and flexibility. I think the New York Knicks will fill this final main roster spot with a player that has a higher currency around the NBA. You know, a player who could fit on a contender, a player who could be traded for a big man, specifically at the deadline. So probably looking at a Landry Shamet, who does share the same agent as some New York Knicks. Isaac Okoro as well could have some value around the league as a wing defender as well. Not that we need any more wing defenders, but you guys get my drift. I think the smartest move the Knicks could make is not signing Okeke to the main roster. I think he'll be in training camp, preseason. He might impress some teams, and then he might earn a contract with another team. He is a CAA client as well, so the Knicks are kind of, well, it's business both sides. I think, he could definitely play really well and make the decision tough, but he could also showcase himself for other teams. So I don't think Okeke's going to stick long term. Not to be down on the move at all. I think it was a really, really good high upside swing for me personally. And I would definitely give it a B plus in terms of what you can hope for a camp invite. A player that's still 25 and below, and a player who's had success in the league, various points. Just he's a reclamation project. There's been some inconsistency. As I also graded McCullar a B plus as well, guys. But yeah, Chuma Okeke's game specifically, if you're unfamiliar, he can shoot it, but he's more of a hard-nosed defender and he's athletic. Good wing size too, and yeah, it doesn't hurt to go 4 or 5 from deep. But I don't read much into Orlando letting him go. Outside of the general just inconsistency, couldn't find his spot. They're a really, really deep squad. You see him picking Luka's pocket on that one and skying for the fast break on that one. Got some pull-up game as well. So yeah, let's commence some Q&A, guys, as well, and I'll try to get to as many questions as I can. So appreciate you guys. Smash that like button. We've all got the streets buzzing. And next up, I'm going to hit up Buzzer Beater's question. So, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Always great to have you with us. Buzzer says, what's holding up Randall's extension and what will be his number? Fam. So, that is some key talking points we're going to address right now. Ian Begley, who's really clued in, did allude to the fact recently in an article that both sides seem comfortable where the situation is, which is positive, but both sides don't seem to have any urgency to get an extension done. So that's telling me that both sides just want to focus on this season ahead, and I know it can be a distraction throughout the season at some point, but when I hear that both sides are calm about it and both sides are comfortable with potentially not doing the extension right away, that sounds great to me. Focus on the season ahead and focus on the basketball sides of things. So I think there won't be an extension from just reading the tea leaves until, after the season, if there is an extension. So yeah, that is the latest, fam. I don't think there'll be an extension before the season begins, unless something major changes, and we know things can change. But for right now, I think both sides seem comfortable. It's Randall could be looking at it like, hey, it's a prove it year. I want a bigger number. I don't want to extend at this number, and I want to go for the full max. And he's fully entitled, to be doing that. This is a 3-time All-Star. I think he's the type of player that's going to bet on himself too. Obviously, there is a really good incentive to sign an extension because you get that security and all of that. But look, Julius has been in the league a long time now. He's had the luxury of having multiple years of a good salary, so he can bet on himself. So yeah, so I'm not expecting an extension to be done before the season begins, and we'll see how the play looks on the court from the team. Um, and in terms of Markel Fultz, um, Markel Fultz makes sense to trade, but right now he doesn't fit on the roster in terms of minutes. So I don't see him wanting to sign with the New York Knicks. Not the other way around, but I don't see Markel wanting to come to the Knicks because we're so deep, really. And when you're a free agent, you want to maximize your reps too, fam. So yeah, appreciate the questions. J Dub says the new nickname for the Knicks is Mob Deep. Definitely, man. That's bringing that back. Old school. As I just scroll down and get to where we're at. Yeah, I'm okay with Precious Achua as the backup. You guys also let me know to start. And one of the key points I'll make is which backup center is really going to hurt you. Right, a lot of teams play small off the bench. A lot of teams play fast. So Precious could actually suit our style, playing with the bench. Now, here's the caveat. If Mitch gets injured and Precious has to start for you, that's when the concern hits. That's where Leon Rose is definitely going to, would definitely address that position. But for right now, Precious as a backup is okay for me, and I think for the Knicks as well. Dirty Dancer says on McCullar, hopefully he's healthy, proves why he was projected as a late first until his injuries. Yeah, I think he's in the right environment, man. The training, the culture that we are building is special in practice. You guys remember famous words from Isaiah Hartenstein. I think he said to Fred Katz or one of the beat writers, he said, if you don't play hard, you're not going to play here. So I think these players are kind of policing themselves in terms of the locker room because they know it's championship or bust. If you're not coming in and playing hard, you're going to lose your spot. Right, we've got a lot of hungry dogs on this roster right now. Some guys trying to earn some contracts as well. Some guys underpaid still as well. And I think a lot of these guys are going to come in super hungry as well. Salute John Rover says McCullar is going to be a star in the NBA. I think health is the setback right now. And I think, once he gets healthy, once he is healthy, and hopefully he is healthy before the start of the season, and then, he can definitely defend, and he can definitely pass the ball really well. I think the shooting is a big swing skill. Optimus 2G, welcome in. Salute, guys. Appreciate you all. And Replay Squad, smash that like button. We've all got the streets buzzing. ECF or bust, I agree with Dirty Dancer on that one. Optimus says Exhibit 10 is really a catch and release type of deal, glorified tryout, release into Westchester in the G League. Yep, you said it. I'm glad you mentioned the G League aspect because Chuma Okeke might not make the main roster. However, he might end and then playing with Westchester until a team can get, offer him a deal, or us potentially as well. But he is a CAA client, so I think I look at it more as it's beneficial for both teams. You do have to bring in, more Exhibit 10s. Well, you don't have to, but you can bring more guys into camp, and more practice bodies. I think is really important to, going up against these guys as well. As I alluded to too, key to Bates-Diop. Some guys are concerned about, the backup 4 minutes. Don't sleep on Keita Bates-Diop. He's a 6'8", 6'9", 3-and-D wing. the season prior to last, he shot 39% from three with the Spurs. Will turn out to be hopefully a key piece for us because Tibbs does like him. He drafted him with Minnesota as well. There you see his hands getting the passing lane. If he can knock down those threes, man, he's our stretch four. He can still play backup five a little as well because he's really, really long, but not ideal. Obviously, Precious is the presumed backup five for right now. But yeah, Keita Bates-Diop was a really good pickup, a throw-in, and I project that he's going to be the 10th guy. If there is 10, I think he will get some minutes early on. I don't really see anyone else that's going to beat him out to play 4 minutes if we are going 10. Maybe Josh Hart plays some 4 and they squeak Campaign in there or Kolek. Outside of that, I think Bates-Diop has a chance to win some minutes. See, I like the high upside swing on Okeke. Great depth piece, says Daryl. Dirty says he can't shoot, though. Fringe NBA. So we'll see how the Knicks add this final roster piece. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be Okeke. I just don't see that because he doesn't have the most value to the playing squad because we're really deep at the wing. And he doesn't add, tradable value as much as some of these other guys. So the next move will be, guys, I feel, will be someone like the $5.2 million range, whether it is a Shamet, a Okoro, Lonnie Walker, Bertans, we'll see. And we've got Fritz in the building, salute. Lets us know Okoro's already on a higher qualifying offer, so the 5.2 million won't move him. So yeah, if that's the case, and appreciate your comment, then yeah, we'll probably have to look at one of those other guys. But I do think it's wise that the Knicks use the 5.2. It's not going to hurt us. We definitely have the potential to add someone that we can flip, for a big and have movable salary. Because right now we don't really have anyone that we would be really keen to trade to upgrade the squad, right, outside of maybe Precious, when the time comes for another big. Because Deuce McBride, Deuce is someone that has proven his worth on this team, and most fans want to see him stay here long term, myself included. Bates-Diop could be movable salary, but he's not on a very good high deal. He's on $2 million. And then you've got Jericho Sims is only on $2 million as well. So yeah, adding someone on the 5.2 million makes the most sense. So who should it be, guys? Who do you think? John wants to see Skapensev get a chance. I do think Skapensev will probably get a training camp invite. I sort of got him there as a hologram. We'll see if he can, make an impression. Maybe he ends up earning the final spot. But I still think the Knicks will use the 5.2 million on someone. João Barrera says Matt McClung, if available from the Magic, guy is a beast. I don't see him fitting, man. I like his dunks. I respect his dunk accolades. I don't see his fit on this roster in terms of the position. I think we do need to sign some bigs. Health is going to be key for us this season, but we are absolutely stacked. We've got a super contribution from Nelson. Appreciate you, Nelson. Thanks so much for that. Great to have you with us. And the chat's buzzing right now. Optimus Bates-Diop is a Tibbs guy, definitely, and we can say that officially because not many times can you actually say that your coach drafted the player as a president, when they were with their former team, and that is the case. So, won't be surprised if Bates-Diop is sticks with this team. Now, not going to expect him to get a lot of minutes. I think he's the 10th guy right now. He might be the 11th guy if Campaign or Kolek is the 10th guy as well, but he's basically 10 or 11. Hopefully, guys, that Tibbs starts to extend the rotation this season, especially back-to-backs. You know, regular season is just get to the finish line healthy. Right? I don't really care if we win 52 wins, 55, 58. Right? Try to get the second or third seed, of course. Really, it really doesn't matter to me because you avoid Boston in the second round if you get second or third. You certainly don't want to finish fourth, but second or third, I don't really care how many wins. Just get to the finish line healthy. I think we've learned our lesson too. Gary says, what's going on with the Ukraine center, Skapentsev? So I think he'll be on the training camp. He'll be one of the Exhibit 10s we bring in, and he'll probably be playing in Westchester, I think. Precious is coming back. I expect him to be the primary backup to start. We've still got Jericho Sims. We've got Huck Pority as well on the two-way. So I think it's not a reflection that the Knicks don't like Skapentsev. I think the aim, for what I'm reading, is they plan to run it into the season and then make a bigger upgrade when the situation arises or the opportunity arises. Most likely December. Leon does like to make trades early in the trade season. Precious Achua is going to be trade eligible around the January period. Brian says Lonnie Walker. I think that would be a solid pickup. I don't know how much trade value he would have, but he's definitely one of the better names available. And D Cool says JT Thor. I like what he's doing. I like what he's doing in FIBA with South Sudan. He had a great game against Team USA. But it's pretty slim pickings in terms of some names available. Isaac Okoro, Markel Fultz, Lonnie Walker, Jetty Osman, THT, O'Shea Brissett, DSJ, Doug McDermott, Crowder, Mook Morris, Robert Covington, and Dovers Bertans. Right. Yeah, as Brian said, THT. Yeah, Prezzi's in the building. Salute. Danny, what's up? Guys. Yeah, I'm going to make a choice. I would say definitely Landry Shamet would have probably the most tradable value come trade deadline. He is a client. I think he does have the same agent, I think, as Dante. So, maybe, and there is reported interest from Mike Scotto as well. So where there's smoke, there could be fire with that one. Landry Shamet is the shooter. A lot of teams will be needing that. He certainly wouldn't, come in and get minutes straight away because, we're deep. So I don't know if he's going to choose us as a destination. That's the tricky part. See, if a player knows that they're surplus and that they're likely to get traded, what's the benefit? What's the incentive of them choosing us? So that's going to be tough, right? So look, we might have to end up settling for a Dovers Bertans, right? Who you could kind of sell him on maybe getting minutes at the backup for, and then you could also then hope to flip him for a big. Obviously he's bounced around the league a lot recently, but he's always been a shooter and is still a shooter as right now as well. So I guess those would be my two top 3-4 guys. Shamet, Bertans, Walker, and Okoro, if he does decide to maybe take less with that. But outside of that, veterans minimum. Let's say we do want to save the $5.2 million for the buyout market. Maybe we just add a Omer Yurtseven for a vets minimum. He's still out there as well. Jetty Osman, Doug McDermott can shoot. You can kind of cut them as a veterans minimum salary as well if you need to clear up a roster spot as well for the buyout market. So that is one advantage to signing a veterans minimum. They're easily tradable. or you could cut them as well to clear a roster spot up. I think if someone better becomes available, I think down the line, um, you took the words out of my mouth, buzz beater. Robert Covington was actually on Philly when we were playing them in the postseason, right? He just wasn't even getting any minutes now, and he really is coming towards the end of his career. I feel end of the bench kind of guy now. He's definitely not worth anything outside of the minimum. But yeah, we've got some key dates to look at for everyone as well. Look out for the season schedule to get released really soon, and I will be breaking it down with you all. And then yeah, hype for Knicks training camp, man. It's less than 2 months away right now, as the Knicks are making more moves to round out their roster. I said it before, Chuma Okeke is a good, camp invite kind of guy, a high upside swing, but I don't see him staying on the main roster. He might impress some teams and earn himself a deal. If we do end up trading someone else and roster spots open up, then I could see him sticking. But for right now, I don't see it. I think the Knicks will be looking to fill that final spot with a veteran who has more value around the league as a trade asset. I think we're really giving them we're really coming in with a tricky situation because we don't want to be trading Deuce right now to upgrade the big man spot. Precious is our only main tradable asset. But $6 million, there is some talk that Jonas Valanciunas might be on the block at the trade deadline. I'm going to bring that up. As reported by Sean Devaney from Heavy.com, we all know the pickup in Washington. They're stacked at the center positions. They've got Alex Sarr as well. The expectation is that the Wizards will be beginning to look for a deal for Valanciunas in December when he becomes eligible to be traded. Now, Jonas Valanciunas signed for about 12-13 million. I think he signed for about 3 years, 30 something. Maybe 3 years, 40, something around that range. So the Knicks would have to find the salary of around that range to send out if the Knicks were potentially looking at a Jonas Valanciunas, right? Precious, someone else. A lot of people are concerned about Mitch's health. I think this could be a make or break season for Mitch. We all know what Mitch is capable of doing, and in my opinion, he's worth keeping because his contract is quite friendly and his play is elite. When he's healthy, at the defensive side, rebounding, shot blocking, all of that. But really, this, given the fact that we've lost Isaiah, and it's a big year, I think, for Mitch and his future with the Knicks. Pablo, appreciate you for that. He signed for 3 years, 30. So yeah, and Optimus 2G lets us know as well. Appreciate you guys. That's why you're the best chat in the biz. So yeah, what would be your thoughts? Like, would he be your primary target as a center? Obviously, he's going to want to start, right? Let's say Mitch, worst case scenario, is injured again and isn't healthy. That's when I could see the Knicks making a swing like that. If Mitch is healthy at that point, then you say, great, awesome. Then, maybe look for a backup, a cheaper backup, right? If Mitch is healthy, I don't see them, trying to make that deal for Valanciunas because you've really got to find that salary. It's probably going to be Mitch and Precious, Mitch and Bates-Diop. But then again, if Mitch is injured, what value is that going to be for our Washington as well? So that's why signing this $5.2 million, signing a player like that, could really benefit in terms of the trade. But then you've got Landry Shamet, who's he's been in Washington as well. Would they want a piece like him back? It's going to be interesting too, but you got to give up to get. And I know this is a business. Trades do hurt people discussing it. We've had backlash. We've had a lot of people, go back and forth on the Randall situation and all of that. At the end of the day, I just sit here now and I trust what the front office is doing. They're trying to make this team a winner, a contender, and not everyone's going to be here at the end of the day. But it's a business. Players going to come and go. 20 years from now, there'll be new players, and some players won't be here. Those players won't be here. So it's tough, and definitely that's why the front office earns their money. But right now, I feel great about this squad. I think it's been an A off season, and there's no excuses for right now. If there is other injuries, then we just have to overcome it. That's what this off season's been all about, making sure that the depth is a lot better, and I think they've succeeded at the most part. Now I think we'll run it into the season or pre-season. We'll see what the third string centers look like. We'll see who's playing the backup four, but there's still that one more spot available. We'll see. Let me know. Let me know who you prefer to add. So Optimus says a deal with Precious 6 million, Diop 2.6, and Sims 2.1. Give Washington their first round pick back as well. So that looks like we're sending them more salary than we're taking back. So that's good. That looks like that could work. We give them their pick back, and we give them Bates-Diop and Sims. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think that makes, just for right now, that seems to make sense for me. Valanciunas is that guy. I think the veteran that can stretch it. Not a guy for the future because he is 32 now. But we're trying to win. We're trying to win right now, and that is the most important thing. I really want to see what Huck Porty looks like in pre-season as well. I think he can be a fine third string in the future, and hopefully he gets an opportunity to get some minutes in pre-season. But yeah, outside of that, those are the two questions: backup four and the center depth. Precious is obviously the backup four, backup five as we speak. But Sims is still 26 years old. Has had some moments in the league. I think consistency is the biggest thing for Sims, to nail down a spot with Tibbs, but on the final year of his deal. I do like Lonnie Walker. Optimus says the Wizard in tank mode. Cooper Flagg is their star child. They're trying to add around the Alex Sars and the Bub Carringtons. Johnny, what's up? Lonnie Walker's a smart, heady player who can explode for points. Not a bad guy for a practice squad as well. Yep. I like that signing for the 5.2. Okoro, if it's possible. Shamet and Bertans make the most sense for me. And then I like Omer Yurtseven. I think he would be a solid veterans minimum. If he doesn't have any deals on the table by training camp, I would be bringing him into camp. I'll be calling his agent and say, hey, if you don't get any guaranteed veteran, guaranteed deals, then why not come into Knicks training camp? You have some backup center minutes to potentially win with us. It can't hurt. Bismack Biyombo, we kind of know what he is already. He's a break glass in case of emergency. But, Yurtseven is a lot younger, and he's had some moments in the league as well. Couldn't hurt, I think, to add, that little bit more extra size too. Brian says Sangoon. Yeah, it's going to take a lot to get him out. Quentin says, what moment did Sims have? There's not been many. Yeah, definitely, man. There's not been many, but where he's jump man Jericho. So we'll talk about some of the big jams he's had. He's definitely a solid rebounder, but I think defensively is his calling card. That's his chance to win minutes with Tibbs. If you're not great defensively, then it's tough to get minutes. And look, Precious couldn't even get minutes in Toronto. He stepped up his D, and that's why he was able to do well with the Knicks as well. But Scap and Sev definitely should come into camp, John. Appreciate you, D. Danny. Glad you could join us. You say, I'm going to miss the quick strike threes from Bogey. That's why I wouldn't mind us rounding out the lineup with Davis Bertans. Yep. Yeah, I saw your comment as well on that. Appreciate you and your thoughts on that one. Davis Bertans, he's a specific skill set, comes in as that sniper and could play backup 4 minutes in a pinch. We know the offense can get bogged down a little bit in the playoffs, right? Right. Pun intended. But Bojan Bogdanovic, quick release, he could change a playoff game like that in a couple of minutes, and that's what we needed at that point. Yeah, it'd be a good shout to have him on the end of the bench if you need, to hit a quick three. But I like Bates-Diop. I really do. Dirty says, the only player on the roster that doesn't interest me is Jake Toppin at the moment. Yeah, it's interesting we haven't heard him officially, accept the qualifying offer yet. We'll see what happens. Maybe we are keeping it, open. We'll see what happens with him. But I thought he looked solid in Summer League. Unfortunately, he got injured. Dan Firestone says, what about Rolo on a veteran's minimum? I'd be open for that. Can't hurt. Experience, rebounding, big body, backup minutes only. But I don't know if he's on a team. Actually, I didn't see his name as a free agent. Could he be that far down the free agent list that he's actually still available? I'm going to assume that he is. But yeah, Toppin's still got some development, and every roster needs those guys. You need to be with Westchester on the two-way and just play. I think that's the only way you can really improve to the full extent. Is to get regular minutes. Buzzer Beater with the super chat. Appreciate you, Buzzer. Says, how about Alan Hahn, Monica McNutt as guests? Fire. Man, they would be fire. Would love to talk to those guys. Obviously, we get Bill Pito on the show, MSG Networks, his colleagues, Alan Hahn, Monica McNutt. Amazing at what they do. Would love to have those guys on the show at some point, hopefully in the future, man. Keep an eye out for the upcoming season. Appreciate you as well. I have reached out to them. In the past, so I'm definitely in touch, and we'll see what happens. You guys loving the roster. I'm loving it too, but obviously continuity is a big part. A lot of guys coming back from the locker room. I said before, man, Isaiah Hartenstein, those words stuck to me. He said, if you don't play D, you're not going to play here. I think these guys coming back, returning with OG, Randall's been here, is the longest tenured Nick. With Mitch and Randall. Precious's second year returning. They all know the expectations. Deuce, Hart, DiVincenzo. Everyone knows the drill. Mikal Bridges is obviously the new face, right? But he knows the drill, right? He knows why the Knicks gave up assets to get him, right? He's going to be that do-it-all, Swiss Army knife. Guard the guys that OG's not guarding. Knock down the corner threes when Randall kicks it out. Dribble, drive, create, play off of Brunson as well. One of the reasons I think this team will get off to a really good start is the continuity. I think that's big. Boston's obviously returning with everyone. They didn't make many upgrades. But Philly definitely have to integrate a huge new piece with Paul George. So that's going to take them some time, and in terms of starting the season out, right, I'm glad that we're going to be playing the Minnesota Timberwolves in preseason, and hopefully we get some really good other teams to face as well. We want good competition, right? There's no need to be playing Brooklyn and Detroit and Washington in preseason, because I think that's not going to prepare us as well as these other tougher teams, right? But Philly, they're 7th on my power rankings coming in. Paul George is solid, but he's not the player he used to be. We all seen Joel Embiid in the Olympics, man. It hasn't looked good, right? Let me know your thoughts. I haven't spoke to many Knicks fans that are worried about Philly. Did they make an improvement? Yes, Paul George is a good addition. He's better than Tobias Harris. But you factor in another year of Joel Embiid. I don't know how many years running now, but when we get to the postseason, it's a pretty safe bet that Joel Embiid is not going to be at 100%, right? And in terms of that, he's still the guy that they need to carry them, to that next level. They made a good improvement, and we did as well, right? Like Buzzer said in the chat, definitely, it's going to come down to execution, really, and that's what it's all about. Mitch and OG did guard Joel Embiid the best, right? No shade at Isaiah Hartenstein, but we're not going to miss him specifically on that matchup because, Embiid, wasn't able to dominate Mitch or OG. In fact, it was the other way around at some points as well. Maxi is definitely going to take another leap, and he's going to be a better player just from development. But yeah, Paul George, they've got to work out the kinks, the touches amongst each other. And I think the Knicks, obviously the familiarity of having McCullar with his college buddies, right? They're not really going to have to spend, more than a preseason, getting back used to each other again. So I think we got off to a good start. How we manage the minutes is going to be the most important thing, in my opinion, right? I'm not worried about 50 wins, 55, 58. Just get to the postseason healthy, and be smart about it throughout the regular season. And no doubt there's going to be some bumps throughout a regular season. There always is, it'd be tough to predict that everyone's going to be healthy. Players are going to miss some time, most likely at some point. Hopefully not, but you prepare for that, and we've got better backups, this season. And in terms of the expectations, I think that's not going to be a worry for these guys because they've all won before in college, too. Dante DiVincenzo's won a championship in the NBA, and so is OG Anunoby, right? Randall's one of the senior heads on the team, 30 years of age now, coming up. And then, the other guys have won in college. So I think they're fully equipped to deal with expectations. They know what's expected. I think coming into this season, right? Everyone got re-upped, essentially, almost everyone, including Tibbs. So everyone knows what they're here to do. That's to win, and I think it'll be team first all the time. Buzzer says in order to get on the, in order to have a moment, you have to get on the court. I think Sims is solid as a third string center, but I think he's third string. He can rebound, he can play above the rim. Hopefully he develops better defensively. But yeah, he hasn't had many opportunities for good reason. D Cool says TJ Warren. Watanabe. TJ Warren, I think, might be on a team, fam. But Watanabe has some good size. And I did see him play for Japan in the Olympics, too. Japan unfortunately got knocked out for them. Optimus says no to something. The Knicks don't have any old players, all mid-30s types. Yep. We don't have any old players, most definitely, and we are built for a sustained period of contention right now, and it starts right now. We all know what we're doing, what we're expected to do as well. Yep. The competition improved around us, but so did we. Most definitely, that's, that can't be said enough, I think. A lot of people will just look at the Mikal Bridges acquisition, but don't forget about OG Anunoby for a full season, right? He only played 29 games for us, or 30 games overall, postseason included. Julius Randle, missed most of the season, right? He's a 3-time All-Star. Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo coming off your bench now for a full season, right? There's a lot of ways you could look at the Knicks improving. Campaign coming in and providing, some playmaking. Kolek, who we didn't have last season as well. Remember, it was Shake Milton. We've added, upgrades at a lot of positions. Yes, we did lose Isaiah Hartenstein. That is the worst part of this off-season, no doubt about it. He is going to be missed at points unless we make a bigger upgrade. But I think we have enough to get by. I really do, because I don't think backup fives can really hurt you. And if Mitch gets injured, then it becomes priority number one. Red alert. But right now he's not. Precious as the backup, I think, is fine. He played that role for a lot of the last season. Johnny says Knicks will be a defensive juggernaut. Whoever Knicks pick up had better be good in practice to earn minutes from Tibbs. Yeah, it's going to be fire, man. The practices, going back to Charleston, South Carolina for training camp. I think these guys are going to be ready, I think, to take the Knicks the furthest they've been since '99, fam. And that is the Eastern Conference Finals at minimum, right? At minimum this season. It's championship or bust, but at minimum, this roster should be Eastern Conference Finals, right? We're better than Indiana, 100%. We were before the health concerns too. We've added some rookies who will add, some nice enthusiasm, some young face and some young energy, I think. In terms of that, it helps to add some guys that are experienced rookies, 23-year-old Kolek, 23-year-old McCullar. That is a good thing to add, to training camp. Chuma Okeke is 25 and he's going to be competing to earn another spot in the NBA. Whilst I don't think it's going to be with the Knicks, just having him into camp, I think, is a really good practice body. He's going to be hungry too. So yeah, I think I'm liking the roster. I'm loving it. Super chat from Buzzer Beater says, type 19 in the chat if you would support a campaign to get a Willis Reed statue in front of MSG. Knicks fam, let me know. Hashtag New York Knicks 60 wins. Salute, Buzzer. Appreciate you for the contribution once again. And I love what you said. I would support it, man. Definitely you get a 19 from me. And Johnny also is on board. 19, Willis Reed, the captain. Man, if not the greatest Nick, in the top 3. And will always stay in the top 3. Adam says the Knicks don't need the Okekes and McCullars. At the moment, we don't. And that's a good thing. But long term, McCullar could end up being a really good piece for us. AO says McCullar is a starter. I like McCullar a lot, but yeah, he's got to stay healthy first, and he's certainly not starting on this squad. Um, Maybe if there's a trade in the future, I think he could take some opportunities. He can defend at a high level. I love his defensive game, but the shooting has to get better. But he had an outstanding college season, that's for sure, before going down. And I do think that McCullar is a really good pickup for the New York Knicks. And hopefully he sticks around for a long, long time. Uh, Buzzer says, how do we feel about DraftKings projecting us as 53 wins? Bet US saying 52 wins. I think it's pretty close to the money, man. I'm predicting 54, 55. That's my prediction early. But obviously, if there's some, injuries, if Mitch can't be healthy for the full season, I could see us maybe winning 52. I think I would take the overs on that. Brian says, we beat Indiana. Refs stole that series, even with the injuries. I think Indiana deserved the win, but we definitely, we definitely should have won. We would have won as well with better health. 33 and 19 together. Queen's Place also represent 19. AO says Willis Reed, top 3 Nick. Absolutely, man. A pioneer. The captain and the hero. Game 7. Man, how could we ever forget, man? We have a rich history, man. And even if you're a newer Knicks fan, to understand where we're at right now, how we feel about the Knicks needing to win their third championship, you need to understand what those other guys went through and what they achieved as well. I've heard current Knicks talk about it. Julius Randle, you hear them talk about seeing the number 19 hanging at the practice facility. When you're there on those dark, lonely days, when you're shooting free throws and you're working out in the summer and there's nobody around, and you see that number 19 hanging in the practice facility, that's got to motivate you, because there's been a huge gap, right? There was Patrick Ewing, there was some heroes in the 90s, but there's a big gap, man, between 70s and now. And I think, we are set to really create some special history now. These guys get it. They understand it. They understand what it takes. And bringing that championship DNA from college is the first thing I look at with the Villanova thing. A lot of people have made jokes about the friendship and Leon getting all these guys together. The first thing you should be really looking at is the success they had together. If somebody's had success together, why not try to replicate that? And bring that into the NBA, where a lot of players don't play as hard. Those guys, right? I think this team could sleepwalk to 50 wins. When you're talking about OG Anunoby now for a full season, McCullar here. These guys played harder than most teams anyway. Now you add more talent. Tom Thibodeau. I definitely feel like we won't finish anything lower than the 3rd seed, unless there's a major health setback. Bob says, I said 50 last season and I was right. I see us winning 57 total. Due to depth, this roster and the defense is strong across the team. OG Precious kept the team under 100. Add Bridges, we cooking. Most def. Versatility in my eyes, Bob. McCullar can guard, 2 through to 4. OG can guard 2 through to 5. Hart and DiVincenzo are going to be a lot more fresh coming off the bench now. And then we added the playmaking that we really, really needed. Right. No shot at Deuce McBride, but we add a lot more playmaking where Deuce can concentrate on catching and shooting. he can concentrate on just D'ing up, and being the secondary creator off the bench at times. Now, he'll probably still be the backup point guard for most of the season, but we don't know. Like, I'm not going to discount what Payne and Kolek could bring to the table this season. They both bring point guard skill set from a different level in terms of playmaking, right, and experience as well. I mean, Kolek ain't that much younger than Deuce, right? You know what I mean? So I think, Kolek could definitely get some minutes as the season goes along. I don't think he'll be in the rotation to start. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Kolek will be in the rotation to start, or do you think he'll earn rotation minutes as the season goes? Bernard King, number 30, yep, absolute legend, but he just wasn't here long enough. I think Paula says Walt Clyde. Man, it's great to have Clyde with us on the broadcast, and certainly we still feel his aura around the team too. But yeah, we're building something special, and I think those Knicks champions are so happy. That's why you see so many of them and former Knicks reuniting now at the Garden, because we are bringing back that 70s 90s vibe. I feel we're expected to win, guys. It's expectations now coming in. When have we been top 4 in the power rankings at coming into a season on most media outlets? I can't remember that. You guys let me know. I don't even know in the Melo years with Mike Woodson, would we have been top 4 in the power rankings in the league coming into the start of a season? Media day, training camp, it's going to be buzzing. September 30, less than 8 weeks away. And then we've got the season schedule in the next week or two. And I will be live breaking it down with you all. It's been a great stream so far. We'll rock out for a little bit longer and then get ready to wrap up. Get in any questions before we do. Any final questions in this episode, and we'll try to get to it. But as we recap, guys, Kevin McCullar is now officially signed, bringing his game to the New York Knicks now on the 2-way deal, right? Westchester ticket, right, is hot right now. You might see a lot of Kolek, Hukpority, and McCullar with the squad so deep, too. And the New York Knicks adding a solid camp invite veteran, Chuma Okeke. We'll see what he can do. I think he'll maybe play a little bit of garbage preseason minutes. He'll be a practice body in camp. He's trying to earn a guaranteed spot in the league. Good defense, needs consistency with the offense, but has 4 years experience now in the league too. He'll be good up against Pacome Dadier and those other wings in the league too. Now all eyes will be on, how do we fill the final roster spot? Do we fill it? Do we add another veterans minimum? Do we add a $5.2 million exception player that we can use as outgoing salary to potentially upgrade the center spot? That's going to be the next move, in my opinion. And then we'll hear some more camp invites getting announced. I think it'll be Dimitrio Skapantsev, maybe Damian Ball from the Summer League squad, who had a really good Summer League. Maybe Ryan Arcidiacono gets a training camp invite and gets a little guarantee too. So I'm going to be looking out for that. Buzzer says, how did Dollar Bill Bradley get his nickname? Was it because he was frugal? Was it because he helped to usher the free agency to the NBA? Man, I can't say for sure, but yeah, I'm going to say it's the latter. He was definitely money, man. Dollar Bill Bradley came through in the clutch. He was money. Ayo says Marcus Camby was my favourite Nick in the 90s over Spree. Yeah, we had a special years with Camby. He definitely went on to have a great career, but the years that he was a New York Knick, a young Knick ascending, yeah, he was special. He was definitely, to have that player right on the cusp of becoming their full potential, right? It was sad that we couldn't keep him, but he had some special years with the New York Knicks. What a talent, length, wingspan, athleticism. He was insane. Um, Bob says we need this to work. With this addition of McCullers, I think the Knicks are locking down the next 3 years of success. What do you see the Knicks' success? What do you see as the Knicks' success in the next 3 seasons? For me, we've proven that we've become more consistent. That was the first step for me. Making the second round 2 years in a row, right? It wasn't satisfactory to not win, but we achieved a goal, which was consistency. Firstly, right? To first be good, you need to be consistent, right? You don't just go from being inconsistent to being really good and winning. So I think people got lost on that. We've made the second round 2 years in a row. Now, third year coming in, it has to be better. Has to be better than the second round, and I think will be. I think it'll be Eastern Conference Finals at minimum. And we push Boston all the way. And if we make the NBA Finals, I think we can win it, right? Whoever we face out west, I think we're good enough to win and beat them. As I look out west in the power rankings, I do think a Thunder Knicks Finals would be a flip of the coin. I think Knicks Dallas, I would give the Knicks the edge, and then Knicks Timberwolves, we've been able to beat them. That'll be still tough. And then I think the Nuggets will regress a little bit. So I think if we get through the East, then I could see us winning a championship in the next 3 years. I think, we hopefully can at least get one NBA Finals appearance in the next 2 years. And then, we set ourselves up to hopefully break the drought and get that big win, right? Break the drought, fam. First time since 72, right? But you got to get through the East. I think if we get through the East, I think we can win the NBA Finals. Queen's Place says Kolek is my sleeper to get minutes. Yeah, I think that's a good sleeper. I think that's a great bet. Queens this season, I think he's ready. I think 23 now. You are what you are at that age. He's ready to earn some minutes. How does he deal with those defensively? That'll be his biggest challenge. But the playmaking is legit. Buzzer says, are the Knicks bringing Archie back? Should we bring him back? Should we bring him back? No. Are we going to bring him back? I think for a camp invite, only just a camp invite at minimum, or maybe later in the season, if the roster spots open up. But should we bring him back? I think no. Yep. Being good and winning is more than the Bucks or Raptors moves, says Bob. Yeah, I really think what we did was fortify our bench, our depth. Yeah, and I do think that we're better than the Bucks. So yeah, we'll wrap it up on that one. But yeah, the New York Knicks have added some more talent. Kevin McCullar is now on the two-way. He'll be a great practice player. He'll be a defender if he comes in and earns some NBA minutes in the beginning. But I don't see it right now because we're batting 10-9 deep, and it's a great problem to have, right? People might not get the minutes that they want this season. Most likely will, and that'll be the case. But as long as you're bought into the goal, which is to win at all costs this season, right? These rookies can sit back, they can learn a lot, and if they do need to step in, then they might be ready to give us some spot minutes. But I think the New York Knicks will add one more piece to the main roster. I think they probably will spend that 5.2 million. So look out for that. We'll be going live when that breaking news happens. Also, there's a couple more camp deals coming through later this week. I think we'll talk about that as well. I think Skapensev definitely deserves a camp invite as a big. We'll see what he can do. Love to see him go up against Jericho and Huck Porty, and just give us that little bit more insurance too. But yeah, McCullar can't be traded now that he's signed this deal. So yeah, I don't think he's going to be traded at all. I think he's going to be here long term. The perfect experienced rookie. If you make a bigger trade in the future, he can step in, I think, and then be more ready for some minutes. But yeah, love you. I love the questions, guys, in the comments. Let us know in the comments section. Replay squad salute. Knicks Nation, smash that like button. You've all got the streets buzzing, and I like the pickups. I gave the Kevin McCullar a B+, and I'll give the Chuma Okeke a B+ as well for the upside swing. But I don't think he's going to stay on the roster long term. I just don't see a spot for him, and I don't see the maximum value in having him as a low salary on the roster, because we do need some tradable pieces, I think, come December 15. Right, if we are in more of a need to upgrade a certain position, a big man, we're going to need, maybe a veteran which has more salary that can be traded, like a Landry Shamet as well. But thanks, guys. Appreciate you, and be well. And yeah, we'll be live, probably our next show in the next few days, probably Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be live tomorrow if there's something breaking, like we do always. We've got the streets buzzing, and have a great night, everyone. Peace.